Melissa, thank you so much for joining me this morning. You are a nurse, you're working in a hospital in Orange County. At the moment, you're an ICU nurse. I'm just wondering, what has it been like for you over the last month or so?
So it's been challenging, would be my first word. um, I had been a cardiology progressive care nurse. I've been doing this for many, many years. And then when we began getting an inflow of COVID patients who required critical care, we did not have enough nurses. We had originally only 3 critical care units and 1 step-down unit. We now have 6 critical care units. Um, so we needed to staff all these units and all of these patients. I would say that the high majority of these patients that ended up on our floor required to be intubated. So very quickly, we learned how to basically be ICU nurses, intensive care nurses. I have never taken care of ventilator patients. I've taken care of long-term trach patients, so it's similar, but these patients are so sick. They would take a turn for a worse in half a shift. The patient would be requiring either CPR. We were in the beginning. We were coding a lot of patients all day long. It was just, we didn't know what to do with them at that point. I think even the doctors were. It's so new. They didn't know how to treat them. It's becoming a little bit more standardized of how we're treating everybody. So we don't have as many patients who are that sick, but it's definitely been challenging of how we go to work and how we're not sure how our day is going to go. Everything's different. So.
What has been particularly difficult for you as an individual?
So I'm used to having patients that can talk to me, and I can talk to them, and I can sit there and let them know what's going to happen, and this is going to be the plan of care for the day. I mean, our unit was pretty much patients who were coming in heart failure and heart attacks, and we treated them. We pretty much fixed them to the point they could be discharged, and we discharged them. And now I have to see these patients come in sick. I've had a couple of them that they've come in not intubated yet, not on a ventilator, and I've watched them and held their hand knowing that they're going to be intubated by the end of that shift. And that's really, really hard for me not to fix a patient. Like I like to, fix them and send them home and have that comfort of knowing I helped. And this has been really hard because I don't know. We just don't know if we're helping.
So it's hard to judge whether this whole thing is turned or not. I mean, what concerns you about the future when you think about the pandemic?
What concerns me is this is the new normal. And I keep saying that like over and over. And I'm concerned that this is going to be our new way we see things, that the virus is going to keep going. I mean, they say it's mutated how many times so far? 8 times. That's my biggest concern. We're gonna get hopeful, and this summer is gonna, have less patients, and then we're gonna turn to fall, and it's gonna happen all over again. And I'm not sure if we can do that again. We've lost so many nurses that have either just quit or walked away, or we had the few that were sick with COVID themselves, and I'm not sure if we could handle it again the way that it was handled this time. It really scares me.
Having said that, is there anything that gives you some hope?
So I did have 1 or 2 patients that we were able to send off the critical care unit. Like we were able to extubate, they recovered, and that's the only thing that I think keeps us going, is knowing that there are those patients. I spend a lot of time now every day going to work. I have a whole bunch of hymns I sing going to work, and that helps me. It helps me get through my day. We pray a lot at work now. I will say that I have not seen so much religion in the hospital since all this has began. We have pastors who come around and offer prayers with us. And we've started now, every patient that we discharge, they play music overhead. So we know it gives us something to look forward to. Like we are some people are going home. So that's helping.
You mentioned religion, faith. How do you see God in all of this?
You know, in the beginning, I was really having a hard time. I spent a lot of time talking to my mom and crying with her about why this would happen. And I now see it as we're able to provide this care and do what we do because of God. Because I don't think any of us would be able to do this without that. I really don't think I could continue to go day in and day out to the hospital and not know that he was there for me, if that makes sense. Like he's helping me to get through it, and I'm able to help others because of that.
I really appreciate you saying that. So for those who might be watching, what would you say to them to help them understand better what it is a nurse, someone in the hospital working physically with patients, what it is like or what they go through, or how can they better understand what it is you and those in your position are facing right now?
I guess it would be like most of the days it was like the worst nightmare to walk into. These patients are the sickest of the sick. They have 6, 7, 8 drips going at one time, and they're on a ventilator and they can't breathe. And every time you turn around, their oxygen's dropping. And every time you move them, you're worried about whether or not, okay, was that the time I moved them? Then I'm gonna have to call a code on this patient. So this thing is real, and I think too many people are because they don't see it, they don't understand how bad it can be. I mean, there's definitely thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have had it and have recovered and haven't had to be hospitalized. But for those people who are in the hospital, it is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. You have people, like I have coworkers up there right now hospitalized who know what the outcome could be, and they're scared. They're so scared, and we can't have families come up. So we're actually doing Zoom meetings between families and patients, so they can see what their mother or their daughter looked like on a ventilator, and that we've tried everything we possibly can. And that is, until you go through that, I don't think that you can understand that pain of just being there, watching them know that there's nothing they can do to save their loved one. It's bad. It really is bad. Hopefully, when they decide to start opening things up again, this won't come right back. But I just hope people understand that we need to be patient and let this just go away. I don't want it to come back. I don't want to do this again. I really don't.
Yeah, the thing is, most of us live kind of like in our own bubble at the moment, right? Whereas you guys are exposed to the virus, to people really suffering as a result of it. Do you feel that you and those in the medical field get enough support, credit for what you're doing?
I have never felt so supported as a nurse by the community as I have in the past 2 months. I'm actually part of our magnet committee at work, and this year our Nurses Week theme was the Year of the Nurse. So this was 2020 is supposed to be the Year of the Nurse, and everybody is. Well, I have a few people who are very negative about that, like, oh, this is what we get, and I say this is the best way to ever show what a nurse can do. We have done everything possible to help these patients, and this was the best way to do it. The community has come forward. We get fed every day. We have never had a day where we haven't had somebody donate food. We have an entire wall downstairs in our ground floor of thank you cards and appreciation notes and pictures. We've had multiple parades around the hospital from the community and the fire departments and police, and just letting us know they're there for us. So I have to say that I have never felt so supported as a nurse than I have in the past 2 months.
That is really great to hear. Finally, how can we better pray for you and for those who are in the same shoes?
It's, I've contacted you a couple of times for prayers, and they definitely have helped. So I would just say to continue the praying. Just pray for strength, just strength to get through it, because we're exhausted. We're all really tired. It's not just physically, it's mentally, it's emotionally. We're just tired. So just the prayers to continue to come, and knowing that we might be getting toward the end of this are something that keep us going. So.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for what you do. We are so grateful for you and all those other nurses and people in the hospitals that I guess that help people to get through this somehow. So we're really appreciative. We're thankful for you, and thank you also for allowing me the opportunity to to zoom in just a little bit on what life has been like for you in the midst of this crisis. I really appreciate it.
I thank you for letting me share.